backpack because we're not going to use that again in class. All right, cool. Go ahead, finish your last part. Let me get your quiz.
Success. I really want that phone, but it's like, she just said no for some reason. Even when I offered to pay for it myself. Because I have a job. She's like, oh no. So I'm just trying to save up for it. 7 later. 7? There's a 7.
Not miss.
There will be.
All right. So, gentlemen, I'm going to ask Sakai to read what's on this whiteboard because he's closest to it. So I'm going to ask him to read this. I'm going to show you a couple of clips, okay? I'm going to give you a little bit of background too about before the film starts. But these are the questions I want you to be considering, and these are the questions I'm going to ask you to just give some answers to the whole group about what you think about these questions. Can you start?
Why was there unrest in the 13 colonies?
Okay, why was there unrest in the 13 colonies? What's next?
Why was there unrest in Boston, Massachusetts?
In Boston, Massachusetts in particular, why was there unrest? And last but not least,
How are England king, what is that?
Parliament. It's just a dash.
Parliament going toward colonies.
How are and I meant to put reverse, like how is England, how's Parliament, the government of England, feeling towards the colonists, and vice versa? How are the colonists feeling about England, Parliament? How are they feeling? I have a quick question. What is the Quartering Act? When you guys did your reading, maybe there was a quiz question about what's the Quartering Act? I really appreciate Chris's hand going up. He already has volunteered, so I would love to hear from people. Remember, I'm looking through your goals. A lot of you said your goal was to participate more this third trimester, so I'd love to see hands up, even if you don't think you know, you could try, right? Vincent, what do you remember the Quartering Act in 1747, I believe? What do you
It was 1765.
Of course it was. Yes. Now, what do
It
you?
said that it required that colonial people provided housing and food for English troops that were stationed there to keep the border for the Americans.
The Ohio Valley?
Yeah.
Yeah. So specifically because of the Ohio Valley, they sent, England sent in the Redcoats, they sent in British troops to kind of stand opposed and to make it so the colonists wouldn't encroach upon native lands, although they kept doing that, right? Does anybody know why there were soldiers, British soldiers stationed in Boston or in Massachusetts? Yeah, Chris?
Because of like reasons, like again to say like there's Native Americans that took them out because of political unrest.
Okay. Okay. What else? Nope, not sure.
The war.
Do you remember? What kind of city is Boston? What is a major thing about Boston's like?
Oh, duh.
Boston's. I know you did, Chris. That's why I'm gonna call somebody else. Boston's merchants and goods being produced there and those kind of things. Like, what kind of a place is Boston? Kate, what were you gonna say? Yeah.
It's a port.
It's a port city. So a lot of, remember they put restrictions, right? They put the Stamp Act and they did different restrictions where they were saying only colonists could only purchase goods from England. Only ships that are coming from England. So Dutch ships, French ships, they cannot take those goods. You're only supposed to take British goods. So why do you think they had those soldiers, Chris?
The soldiers would make sure they weren't smuggled French, Dutch, and
You remember,
other goods.
right? You remember the privateers that like the colonists passed laws saying we're gonna legalize piracy. You can go and smuggle different goods, and we don't need tea from Britain. We don't need their stinking tea. We're gonna get tea from the Dutch, and it's gonna be great. So the issue with that is that England caught on to that. They send British soldiers, and for a couple of years, there's just like a state of policing. There's like a whole time period in Boston's history, in this history, where there's British soldiers everywhere. Imagine how you would feel. How would you feel if you walked outside right now and there was just rows of soldiers from, you know, like soldiers like outside, like
Like it was a
Canadian soldiers, sure. Well, huh? What kind of soldiers? How would
So nothing, pretty much.
you wouldn't feel any kind of way?
No, I'm saying Canadian soldiers. I'm like saying so basically there's gonna be nothing.
Oh,
Canada
you're
fought
making a diss
alongside
against soldiers.
World War II.
Chris, I'm asking how would you feel? How would you feel? What would you be? Yeah, Jackson.
I would just be confused.
Yeah. A
Why?
little bit of like uncomfortable. Like, why is there a soldier outside of my school? And why are they lined up? Like, what's happening? What's going on?
Or is there like checking cars every like time a car tried to pass by the
Yeah.
street?
There's different things. So in Boston, what ensues is the Boston Massacre. There is one British soldier in particular. I'm super excited that I'm being filmed right now, so I get to say this. One British soldier in particular. He looks really young. He's at his post. He's in the sentry in this area. He's standing there. He's trying to protect his area. And this crowd of Bostonians come, and they're like, you know what? You need a job? Guess what you can do? You can dump out my shit bucket. You can dump out my shit. That's what you can do. Okay, so quickly the British soldiers like, this is not gonna go good. I don't want to touch your shit bucket. I'd rather just stay on my post. Like, can you leave me alone? The crowd starts getting upset. They start getting upset with him, and more people come. More people come to like taunt him, to be upset with him. Again, how are the people of Boston feeling? Upset, not happy that these soldiers are here. Then what happens is that the commanding officer comes to kind of protect his soldier, to help him. He brings a few other soldiers. They form ranks, so they stand in line with their weapons, their guns, battalions. Not the same type of weapons that we have now. But when they go to protect him, they face the crowd. There's this angry mob of people, Bostonians. They're throwing ice, they're throwing snow. They have clubs, they have sticks, and they're pissed off and they're upset. What starts out, Chris, as like a group of about 50. Swells into a mob of about 200 people, maybe even more. Hundreds of people start to come out. What is going on? Why are there these British soldiers? Why are they facing? And what happens, what they say is, it's my Google Voice phone. Well, hi, Mom. What they say, what the different historical accounts, like when you read various textbooks, when you read different like primary sources, journals of what people, how they saw this event, how they observed the event, what they said is that one Bostonian threw something and it hit one of the soldiers and it made him off balance. And in him being off balance, it's supposedly he slips and his gun goes off. He fires the gun. In firing the gun, he fires into the crowd, and what some people believe to be the first battle of the American Revolution happens in Boston, this Boston Massacre. Somebody gets shot. Do you know who that person is who gets shot?
George Washington.
Not George Washington, no.
Oh, I
George
forgot his
Washington.
name.
I've heard this before.
That was
Robert
a black
Beard.
guy.
It is an African American.
Yeah,
Do you know, Dana?
Crispus Atticus.
Crispus Attucks.
Oh yeah, Christmas
Attucks was a mulatto man. He was Native American and African, and he was a former slave, and then he worked on the docks, he worked on the ship, so that's what he was there. He was in the area, in this crowd, like what's going on, and he was the first to be shot, although other people were shot. I want you to take a look at this film, look at these clips, and answer the questions. Let me turn the light off. Answer these questions as a group. So tell me what you think.
What does Howard Zinn say Christmas did?
Zinzi.